All right, guys, so I'm about to head over to my friend Tim's house on this beautiful Sunday, fun day afternoon. Look how warm and sunny it is outside, man. The Tim is awesome. I bought the three-rotor engine off of him from my last car on Craigslist. Dude's a fucking maniac. I can't wait for you to meet him. He's a KC-135 crew chief of the military, works on the refueler jets, and he's super attentive to detail and builds amazing cars, man. He's a hell of a mechanic, and his roommate's badass too.
What's up, man? You parked in the...
What's the setup?
SR20, stock trans, Nismo 1.5 way, 2560 RS turbo, and that's about it, man.
What's your name?
Jim Nevins.
What's up, dude? How you doing? What's going on, man?
I didn't hear you come in, man.
How you doing, dude?
Good. How are you?
I saw your BMW out there.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We're gonna put in a car.
How much do you think this car retails for?
Brand new 142.
Jeez.
Oh. Yeah.
That is fucking
Yeah.
insane.
That's the only downside. Yeah.
That's like a million puppies.
That's a lot of puppies.
So,
If you measure that in puppies and Keystone Light, it's a lot either way.
what the?
And kids with
100 million Keystone Light.
think of the
We're gonna measure
yeah?
some wheel specs for his BMW today first before we get on the SR20. So
Yeah.
we're gonna like build wheels for his car shortly. So
Sweet.
we gotta get them measured.
What's up, man?
Apparently
How you doing?
nobody makes 19 by 5, so we're gonna have to build our own.
You're gonna make your own.
We're
19
just
by
gonna-
5.
Well, we're gonna
What
order,
the hell?
faces and then obviously order lips and barrels
Yeah.
to suit, you know. So we're not gonna forge our own fucking.
You can get just faces only. Hell yeah, dude.
You got any followers on there?
Yeah.
No shit. I'll watch it. Yeah, there's at least
Sweet.
16.
What's
it called?
What's your name?
Mike.
Mike David, man.
I got a few cars you can film. Is this a car channel?
Yeah.
I'm up there watching YouTube all the time, dude. I watch like Booster Boys and like Bruce McFarlane and I watch all that stuff.
Hell yeah.
You can watch like Skid Factory and fucking Skid Factory.
I haven't watched that one, but I will. I don't
That
even
sounds
cable, man.
close to reality. You get it? That thing just smoked you right in the face.
That's when she's supposed to come together. Yeah, it's supposed to. If you're like 35 and you still like. I mean,
So
I say
sexy.
that, but I'm gonna go to the track and run a fat 13 or something. You know?
You're like, well, that's
There goes my 10-second 60-foot time is what it's supposed to be.
How's the RD running?
Good.
Is it good?
Really good, man. Yeah.
You got that dude to tune it up for you.
Yeah, we tuned it on the dyno, made more power than I thought it was ever gonna make.
So sick.
You remember when you came to my
This
house
exhaust.
and recorded a video? We were working on the that old white Eagle Talon.
Yeah.
They had the automatic.
That's fine.
What's up, guys? Just got over to Tim Nevins' house. This is Tim, man.
Hey,
He's a
what's up?
super JDM car enthusiast.
Kinda, maybe. So today we're gonna work on my S13. It's been my primary drift car for a few years now. But I left water in the cooling system and let it sit outside when it got cold, so it popped a freeze plug. So the cylinder head had to go to the machine shop. We ended up having to take about 7 thou off the deck on the bottom. We've got some new Manly springs in there. They're 90-pound seat pressure springs. None of those crazy high seat pressures like Tomei and BC would tell you to run. So what we're gonna do today is put this head on, new oil pump, lower oil pan and pickup and all that kind of stuff. So the reason we're doing what we're doing is because my old oil pump was having pressure issues at idle, which is on an SR20. It's like the whole front cover. So the problem is, to replace this piece, you've either got to pull the head or you've got to pull the upper oil pan, which is this piece down here. Now, we got kind of lucky. I say that because, call luck what you want. my head blew a freeze plug, and the head had to come off anyway to get the freeze plug put in. It's on the back of the head. So.
Oh, so you're basically killing two birds with one.
Yeah, essentially. So we're gonna install this and then put the head back on and probably mechanically time it, do the lifters, cams, rocker arms, all that kind of stuff, and we'll show you how to do all that the right way. So what we're gonna do now is line up this drive assembly with the inside of the oil pump here, along with the keyways and stuff on the crankshaft. Before you do that, I always recommend lining up your yellow chain link down here. There's a timing mark down there to line up. That way when you go up here to time your cams and stuff up here, you can line up the other links on there. It makes it super easy. So when we install this thing though, there's kind of an order of operations. The way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna install this first, then I'm gonna take my collar and install it. And then once I know that that can be done, I'm gonna pull it back off. I'm gonna RTV around this thing and then do it for the final time. So let's give it a go. So we've mocked it up. We know that the oil pump drive collar will fit inside there, that the oil pump fits where it needs to fit. I'm gonna pull both things back off. We're gonna RTV it and put it right back on. So one thing to not forget is the O-ring on your oil pump outlet, seen here. And it goes right here, right down here. Now don't forget to replace that. You could have bad days if you don't do that. Don't put it in that hole either, put it around the hole. So we're gonna lay a bead RTV here. And then all the rest of this I'm actually gonna use, I'm gonna put it on the pump, and then when we put the pump on, it'll make the contact. So, yeah. You don't wanna go nuts. Just enough to do the job.
You like to use RTV gray?
Yeah, actually, I believe RTV gray, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe RTV gray is actually the Nissan OEM gray that you get in your gasket kit.
Really?
I believe so, yeah. So let us know in the
I
comments.
like the RTV
Yeah.
gray.
Yeah, they only really make the black.
You ever use the right stuff?
No, I haven't used that stuff.
That's pretty good too. It's black.
I think the Permatex only makes black for like old guys who are like, I want Permatex black. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they still make it for, so they'll sell it, you know? So also just hearsay, so don't fucking roast me on it, but. So we RTV'd it, and this right here is gonna determine how clean or not clean. Don't be fucking getting zooming too in there on it, all right? Like my hands hurt. I went to the gym yesterday, man. You know, this is gonna determine how clean my engine is. The last one leaked from around there, so I had
He's
to
gonna
break.
fuck it up.
Yeah.
He's gonna smear it all over the place.
Shut up, dude.
I love the vote of
Alright,
confidence.
moment of truth, man. Moment of truth here. Line up them dowels. Come on.
See, if you had a rotary, you wouldn't have to
on
do
there.
any of this.
Yeah, do they even have oil pumps? You know what I'm saying? Do they even fucking have oil
It still
pumps?
has a front cover.
Yeah.
It's still same kind of stuff on the front.
Man, EVs don't need oil.
That motherfucker runs on hopes and dreams and shit.
Unicorn tears, man.
So this cylinder head is one I've had for a while, and a lot of people would say that they wouldn't use this cylinder head, but I would beg to differ. So when I first got it, it ate a camshaft. If you want to zoom in right here, and people with SR20s know this doesn't take a cam bearing. It just rides in these deals. You know what I'm saying? And the camshaft deposited some metal into the head, and I had the machine shop years ago clean it all out, and it's been fine ever since. So, you know, I know a lot of people would say, oh, get a new head, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Well, some of the best race motors have scars, and this one is no exception. Also, this cylinder head has been decked 7th thou. Factory service manual for an SR20 is like 8.2 or something like that. So this is the last time this head will probably go on a motor. If it doesn't need decked again, we'll put it back on something. But if it ever needs decked again, this cylinder head is bad. So don't be afraid to have the machine shop and do certain things that some people maybe on the internet that maybe don't ever have an SR20 or don't even drift. They just play video games and drink Monsters and shit. Would say not to do, because in the real world, you can get away with a lot if you understand what you're doing. So let's put this thing on. Same
Yeah,
deal.
feed that
yeah,
through.
yeah, feed that through first.
Okay. Hold on. Okay.
Got it.
Yep. I was gonna say you gotta come over. You're on the edge.
Yeah, but I gotta like this new.
Touchdown.
So with the updated timing chain tensioner that Nissan offered that I bought, it makes it harder because it doesn't really move to get the head on with studs. So we ended up pulling all the studs out, dropping the head down. We'll just put them back in. Lots of anti-seize, ARP sells it. Use what you want. I'm using what I want. Don't fight me about it. And we're gonna use Molly B on the top. Like I said, ARP sells their stuff. Use what you want. This is what I'm gonna use. So you do you, girlfriend. So anyway, what we're doing here is ARP studs. You want them just tight. So I ran them all down. And then what I'm doing is I'm gonna tighten it to the stops. I just go back and just get it to it's right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do that for the rest of them. All right, that's where it stops. Back off and just right there. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we're installing the washers for the ARP studs. I'm just coating them in Molly B, dropping them on there, and then we're gonna do the nuts and bolts.
Is that really like molybdenum?
Blah, 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 blah.
Is that really what it is?
It's
Cool.
that's what I'm using. Like I said, don't fight me over it, because guess what? We're gonna do it this way, and I'm not pulling it back apart to appease you. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to come over here and redo it, that's fine. You're more than welcome to do that. But this is what I'm doing, and if it rips, it rips. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
You know somebody's judging.
Somebody's gonna get mad. Whatever else. Blah 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 blah. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's not affected. I don't know these people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So I got on
What do you wanna
Craigslist
talk
and I
about?
found this D series 3-rotor about 6 years ago, and I call this dude up. I'm like, yo, there's no way you have a D series 3-rotor in fucking Trussville.
Why would I
Alabama.
lie about it?
Because people don't have D series 3-rotors sitting around their garage. First of all, and this is Trussville, Alabama. Who the hell
I
has
was
a
in Penn. It was
fucking
Pinson, Alabama.
Pinson,
but still, Pinson,
Alabama?
Alabama.
Come on.
Yeah.
And just so happens this dude pulled it out of a Cosmo in Japan, in Okinawa, after driving it around with some old dude.
Was,
Like, come
it
on.
came out of Michi's,
That's a believable
Yeah, it
story.
came out of like one of Michi's cars. So I'm a crew chief in the Air Force, stationed at Kadena. So the plan was for that engine to put it in this Corolla actually and run it NA. Like Hugo McLean did. If you want to YouTube Hugo McLean, really cool guy actually.
That's that
I
purple car.
emailed him and stuff, or maybe
Purple
Facebook.
ITB 3-rotor?
Yeah, purple ITB 3-rotor. I
Yeah.
emailed him or Facebook Messenger, whatever, and he was very, very helpful. You know, very willing to share his setup and whatever else. But moving to the States cost me a lot of money, so I couldn't go through with the project. So I ended up just having to sell the motor. So that's what it is.
That was an awesome motor. That car's still out there right now. Corey Johnson owns it. I think it's for sale. That was one of my favorite cars, man.
I liked it.
That was a great motor.
My favorite of your
Sold me a
RX-7s
good motor.
was that
In
one.
fact, when we had it rebuilt, Bonsai Racing rebuilt the engine for us, and it was already like pretty much perfect inside. There's nothing wrong with the internals. The
Well, I mean, I
rotor
wasn't
housings
gonna
were good. The
bring
rotors
in-
were great. Everything was good. All it needed was seals. Just some Apex seals, just because they've been sitting.
I mean,
for a
it
long
came out
time.
of a running car, so
Yep.
you know, like we knew it. With all rotaries, you never know how deep you're gonna
That's
have
how
to
I met
get
this
into
guy.
it, you know. So
And he told me, "Don't come over here unless you got cash, because I got guns."
I think you're embellishing
No,
the
I'm
story
not
just a little bit, man.
I
Like-
remember, because I was like, "Damn, I hope I buy this engine over there, because this dude might shoot me if I
Well,
walk
the
out
thing-
without,
you guys-
without
you guys-
paying for it."
You got to understand, I don't know who it was locally around here. I had gone to a Cars and Coffee, and there was some guys standing around an FD, and I was like, you know, I'd been into them for a while. And I was like, hey, if you guys are looking, I have a 3-rotor at the house. And they were just like, oh, whatever, shut up, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
It's
why-
unbelievable.
Yeah, why would I
Nobody
lie
believes
about it?
this shit.
Yeah, why would I lie about it? You know, like, at some point you're gonna
Nobody
call me
believes
out.
you when
Yeah.
you say you got a 3-rotor sitting at in your garage.
That's
And you're
not
not
a
a rotary,
statement people
and
make
you're not a
often.
you don't have a rotary car. You just happen to have
You
a
just
D
happen to
series
have that-
3-rotor.
Yeah. Just in case anybody
Just sitting
needs
around.
one.
Well, like I said, it was supposed to go into this one. I actually had a bunch of other stuff. There was like what I gave you. I gave you like an FD trans and some other shit. I thought
It
like
was
a bunch
great-
of spare parts.
It was a great setup.
Yeah. So we're gonna lube up these nuts with the same stuff that I said I was using earlier.
Will you
Then
lube
we're
up
gonna-
my nuts with the
Yeah,
same stuff?
I'll lube up your nuts with anything you want, dude. Anything you want. In fact, I mean, you know, we don't have to use lube if you're a man. So, like, just get after it, dude.
It helps.
Helps, yeah. So we're just gonna lube them up, just get them on there, and we'll run them down. Yeah, I'm not torquing them or anything right now, so it's not. Nobody blasts me for not doing it in. So we're just doing the first step, just 30 foot-pounds in the same order that the factory service manual tells you to do it in. We'll go to that, and then we'll do 60, and then we'll do 90, and then I'm gonna double check my ARP instructions because I think now they say to go to 105, which is pretty wild, it's pretty high. So we're gonna double check. This is where the latex meets the butthole. This is the 90 foot-pound go on these things, man. So we're gonna do it. We just Googled ARP steel. So they said 90.
ARP says 90
I could have
foot
sworn I
pounds.
read somewhere 105. I'm glad I'm wrong. But if I am wrong, let me know. And you're more than welcome to come over, pop my valve cover off, take my cams out, and retorque them for me. So, yeah. Oh, this is the one. This is the one too that I'm worried about. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh god, dude, that's so tight.
Just need the click.
Oh
there
god,
it
dude.
is.
Thank God.
Double click.
The healthy click, right?
Yeah. Healthy clicks.
That's 90 foot-pounds?
Yeah, this is 90, dude.
Is that what you had it on before?
No, 60 before. You go
Oh
three
my
step,
God.
30, 60, 90, yeah. It's 60.
Yeah,
was-
you don't never want to go straight to the full limit.
Yeah.
No, I'm
You gotta do it
saying
in
the last
stages.
time you assembled the block, you had it on
I
90.
mean, fuck, it was like 4 years ago. I can't. I'm sure.
Probably you did the specs.
Yeah, I remember calling ARP because I know
Like verifying.
the guys on the internet.
Sounds sketchy
Adam
'cause
LZ
the
and Alberto
aluminum
Big
head.
Boosted had to issue. I remember watching their video and they didn't get the right torque spec. They had to go back and redo it. So I'll call you on your shit.
Yeah, see, if you had a rotor, you wouldn't have to do all this dumb shit.
Oh, really, Zach? Would we like to talk about the torque settings on the nut on the back side of that thing for the, what is it, the flywheel? It's like this big? What is that? Yeah.
It's like the biggest socket from Sears.
Yeah, exactly. I'm surprised Craftsman even makes them that big. You gotta do like bonsai racing or pineapple, whatever the hell.
You gotta use
To
like
get it, yeah.
You gotta use like thermite to get it off.
Yeah, for real, yeah. I gotta use one of those Chinese impact guns they use on fucking 18-wheeler wheels. So we're bleeding the lifters here from my SR20. That's a lifter. And we're gonna shove this Allen wrench down it and bleed it in that fresh oil. I'm just using 1030, calm down. We're gonna put like 1550 or 2050 in it when we get it going. I'm just bleeding it in this shit. And this is how you do it. So essentially, you're gonna put this into the hole and then you're gonna pump it and it's gonna pump air, hopefully just oil, out of this hole. Once it's bled, we'll put it in the head. And it can actually, it actually bleeds like every time you run the engine. You know what I'm saying? And then like on the KA24Es, the lifters bleed. The factory service manual procedure for that is actually run the engine at 1,000 RPM for like 10 minutes or some shit. So we're gonna bleed these, put them in, that way we can do the retainers or the rocker arms and the keepers, and then put the cams in and time it and all that stuff. So put it in the oil. Might be hard to see because, you know, it's in a bucket of oil, but oops, that's kind of hard to do because it's, oh yeah, there's some air coming out of there.
Is this factory service manual requirement?
Yeah, that's what it says to do. You can also tell, I like doing this because like,
Are there a lot
you
of
get
people
a,
that don't do this? Or does most people do this?
I mean, I would hope that people do this.
Yeah.
One of the other reason I like doing this is because you get a feel for your lifters and whether or not they're working correctly. Oh God, I dropped it. You can have collapse lifters, which give, you know, SR20's got issues with rocker arms. No, they don't. Maintain them. And don't run cams with really bad ramp rates and stuff. Yeah. Anyway. So here we have all my valve train components for the SR laid out. You can organize this however you feel, but it's up to you. You're the one doing it. So just for instance, I just, you know, my two keepers, rocker arm goes to that lobe, and then, you know, so on and so forth. Same with my cam caps. And you guys don't let me forget, I have new oil tubes to put on the motor. They're sitting over there. Don't let me forget. So we're gonna go ahead and install this stuff. I never took the sprockets off the cams, and we should be able to line them up as long as Tom didn't let the timing get out of whack. So this is how I organize stuff. Feel free to do it your own way. This is just the way we did it. So we're doing shims, keepers, and rocker arms right now. These are the infamous SR20 rocker arms. Everybody says they like to throw them. Well, you know, when you get a motor that was manufactured in 1994, never put valve springs in it, and run big cams with, you know, ramp rates and exhaust closing rates that are pretty harsh on valve trains, BR rev limiters. I'm not trying to call it BR, but just stuff like that, you know, harsh rev limiters. Yeah, you can throw rocker arms. I've found that running a conservative valve spring, these are the Manley 90-pound seat pressure valve springs, is just about right, because SRs don't really rev that high. You need about 10 pounds of valve spring per every 1,000 RPM, kind of along the same rules as your oil pressure. So running really aggressive valve springs adds to rockers being thrown. I'm not going to call out cam companies, but some of them have questionable ramp rates, which is how fast the ramp, or how fast the valve opens and closes. And that's a very leading problem of rocker arm, you know, rocker arms being thrown. So anyway, this is my car. It's got stock cams in it. It's going to have stock cams in it for a while. Just got upgraded valve springs. We're going to up the boost a little bit, which is something a lot of people don't think about, is you put a lot of PSI behind the intake valve. Well, you need to be able to hold the intake valve closed, you know, harder than it would be from the factory. So anyway, I'm gonna put my stuff in, do my thing. You can do what you want. I'm stuck. One side is a shim and one side is a keeper, and let's see if this is the right side. It like fits in there. Mazworks will machine this side of it so you have dual keepers, and I think it's a good idea as long as the geometry of this, you know, left to right is held. And that could come down to, let's go over here, like whatever side it's on, like the tip of the valve being ground down so that the thickness of this shim doesn't have to be shaved. So let's say you end up throwing it, you can just put an OEM shim back in it and not have to shave one of these down trackside, you know, to drift day or something. So that's kind of my 2 cents. Is I think that would be a good idea if maybe if you took up the clearance with valve stem height and not shim thickness. I know that's a little harder. A machine shop would have to do it, but like most things in life, the easy way out isn't always the best way. So anyway, book of opinion, chapter me. Anyway, we've got a new Future Fab manifold that's going on, and we've got to get from the turbo down to here, the stock exhaust, you know, whatever. So I've got to fab a downpipe, fab a this on there, fab a downpipe.
That's a nice.
Yeah, fab a screamer pipe, and then fab a pipe to go. Actually, I just have to shorten the pipe that goes to the intercooler, but you can't do all that if you don't know where your turbo is going to be. And you're not going to know where your turbo is until the head's on and the manifold's on and all that jazz. So you guys know it's a process. Yeah.
So we'll be back to watch you fab up the downpipe. Huh?
Yeah, I'm going to actually try and probably start on it probably like in the next couple of days, because people will say, you know, or think fab work takes minutes. Well, it doesn't. It takes days. You know, I know there's really good guys out there like Walker and all them, and Wilson, my roommate, and you know, just whoever. You know, Third Strike Ben. Yeah, it's a little vibrant deal. There's some really good guys out there that, you know, could do it faster than me, but it's a hobby of mine, so it's going to take however long it's going to take, and when it's done, it'll be done.
Nice work.
Yeah. So
This seems like it's going to be a little harder to put on here.
it will be.
I was going to say, where does the tension come from?
Here.
Okay. Gotcha.
I mean, it shouldn't be that hard because we don't have any tension on the shank.
Yeah, I was going to say, it should be all the way.
So basic SR timing is dark links lined up with the hole. You can count how many. I don't recall right yet. I'll do it here in a minute. And then another dark link lined up with the hole. And then if we go down here, like we did before, we lined up that yellow link. You're not going to be able to see it now with it, but you could actually go down here and look. But that's standard timing. We'll get our MazWorks plug. Timing chain tensioner in here. Spin it around a couple of times, make sure the timing marks still line up and everything, and then go from there. So, not a big deal. It's not hard to time an SR if you've done it a few times.
Well, you're gonna have
So
to.
tell us what's going on now.
We're just putting the cam caps on. I'm just getting them threaded and started. There we go.
So it's almost assembled now.
Yeah, it's
Everything's
getting
almost
there. We got
done.
new
It's getting
new
closer.
oil rails going in.
Looking like a motor now, huh?
Yeah, it's good.
It's got cams.
Fresh
It's
oil
got
rails.
chains.
Let me grab the other cam caps.
Are you excited to get this thing running again?
Yeah, it's actually my favorite car. I like that car quite a bit.
Are you gonna take me for a rip?
Yeah, of course.
Hell yeah. Are you gonna let
That's
me?
what it's for. No,
you
we're
gonna
just gonna
let
look
me-
at it. Let's go park. You know what we should do? Let's build this motherfucker. Let's go park it in a parking lot and then just sit by it in chairs. You know what I'm saying? How about no? How about we go drive it?
Will you let me drive it?
If you want, you can drive it.
Will you let me clutch kick it?
Yeah, sure.
We smash that e-brake?
So actually, just to talk about that, no one is actually an owner of a car. Yeah, you might have it on paper or whatever, but when you die, the car's made of metal. It's going to be around if it hasn't been crushed or whatever. We're really all just ambassadors of our cars for short periods of time. And why would you not let people experience it? Now, I understand if people are idiots and you give them a high horsepower car that, not that this is that.
Hey, you drove my car, didn't you?
I've driven your car a few times, yeah. Yeah. But within reason, let people enjoy and drive your car, you know? So.
Now, why is that shaped like that?
That drives the CAS, which like sticks out here.
Oh,
and it's
the-
for timing and stuff.
The crank sensor.
Crank angles or
Or
cam
cam
angles,
angle
whatever you
sensor.
want to call it.
Do you have two
Just
crank angle
one.
sensor?
No,
Do you
just
not
one.
read off of the down here on the crank too?
Nope.
Okay.
Sure don't.
So just cam timing is all
Yeah.
you read?
And you know if you're
so everything's based on cam timing?
yeah. If you're an SR aficionado, you'll understand why there's a hole in the head right here and why there's nothing filling the hole. You'd ask yourself, well, Nevins, why? Because this is an S14 SR. This should have something called VCT, variable cam timing, where the intake cam could swap timing essentially. And what they did is they did that. That's not it, by the way, so don't worry about it. What they did is they did that. Yeah, in case you had it, Nissan did that to increase the drivability.
Look at this beard with a helmet on over here. Fat 3mm rotors. Slide a bit on there. Let's see if it fits. Dude, I cannot believe it. I'm so stoked right now.